welcome to another episode of A Candid Conversation with Adam Lopez. Today, I have a very special treat for all of you. We have Corina Burton from the greater Phoenix area. She's an entrepreneur. She's also co-owner of CPR Construction. They service multi-states, Utah, California, Colorado, Arizona. Corina, welcome to this program.
Thank you so much, Adam. I appreciate it. And I'm excited to be on.
You know, this program, really the intention is to bring on a variety and diverse group of guests to talk about many different topics. I've had politicians, I've had candidates for mayor, I've had travel gurus, I've had infertility doctors, I've had a lot of different individuals. And, you know, when I ran into your profile on LinkedIn, I was just very impressed of everything that you're doing aside from your actual job, healthy living, volunteering, mothers making, money making mothers. Just a lot that is really fascinating. It's intriguing, and people should learn about what you're doing. So, first and foremost, I want to ask you, because I ask all my guests when they come on, we're living in a crazy world at this time, right? It's just going insane. But how are you doing? How's your family? Has anybody been affected? Have you been staying safe throughout this pandemic?
Yeah, so I'm very blessed that so far my immediate family, so myself, my husband, my 4 children have been well. I mean, we've had obviously the common cold here and there, but actually I think it was probably a good solid year before I even had the sniffles throughout the pandemic. So you know, we've been good. We've had a few people around us who've had experienced the virus, and it wasn't anything scary, but I did have someone close to me that had the COVID pneumonia, which was for me very scary. But as soon as they got antibiotics, they were up and going and are doing very well.
I'm glad you and your husband are doing well. Continue to stay safe and protect yourself, because it's scary out there, right? But let me ask you a little bit about the company you work for, CPR Construction. We'll talk about the phone numbers and the websites as we go along, so people can get a note into that.
And just a little, I'll just so it's not confusing for people, it's CPR Construction Cleaning. So we're not a construction company, we're a cleaning company. Yes, I know. When we forget the cleaning at the end, people are like, wait, are you a construction company? I'm like, no, we're not. We're not a construction company.
It can be very misleading, but thank you for the clarification. That is why it's always awesome. So it's CPR Construction Cleaning, which is totally different than construction. So thanks for clarifying that. But my question to you is this: what, if any, negative impacts did you see during this pandemic and the downfall of the economy? Because you're very well know that a lot of businesses, you know, went out of business, they had to close. But on your end, what did you see? What was the negative impact or positive impact?
Well, to be quite honest, my company started in mid of 2019. And my business partner and I, we really didn't get it off the ground until January 2020. So we both, when we first started our company, we both were working at a full-time job and starting CPR Construction Cleaning at the same time. So, you know, as it was coinciding, I'm working probably, you know, from 7 in the morning until literally probably like 10 o'clock at night for about 5 months, 6 months. And that was very exhausting. But, you know, when we decided to take that challenge on, and we decided to 100% be dedicated to CPR Construction Cleaning, was 2020. So January 2020. Obviously, we had no idea what the next month was going to bring, and then what March was going to really, you know, do to us. I feel so extremely blessed that in the year and a half that we've been in business, that we've been able to grow in 5 states during a pandemic. So for us, we didn't feel that hurt. We didn't feel the burden. Construction was still in Phoenix, Arizona, was still really thriving, was still an essential business. So that allowed us to be an essential business. And then also we were asked to support our industry partners in the, sanitization process. While, if there was anyone affected on site that had COVID, then we would come in and do a complete disinfectant sanitization for that area so that it would be safe for the crew to come back on site. So, I'm very blessed. We did not have any negative impact. I can only say that we had positive. Yes, towards the end of 2020, we did experience a few of our team members have COVID, but throughout the entire year, we didn't have anyone. So it really wasn't until the end of the year where we had some of our team members, and thankfully by that time we have such a big crew in Arizona. We have about 50 employees, cleaners. And so we were able to, shift around and make sure that our teams and our jobs were safe. Yeah. And we were still able to do the work that was requested of us. But I mean, I did see that there was a lot of other companies in the janitorial world. We're not a janitorial company. We are a specialized construction cleaning company, but we did see a lot of the janitorial companies, and we saw that, the day porter and the night cleanings really were impacted in a negative way. So obviously my heart goes out to them and the struggles that they've had.
Well, it's good to hear, Corina, that despite what was going on, your company still was able to progress and move forward, because that wasn't the case with many businesses in every industry. But you spoke about a specific point, sanitization, which is disinfecting, deep cleaning, sanitization of the workplace. In Arizona or other states that you work with, is there some type of regulation that was something put out by health or OSHA that required a certificate or anything, proving that sanitization or deep cleaning or disinfecting was taking place or took place?
There was no certificate required. We just needed to be able to show proof to our clients of the type of solution that we were using, that it was a CDC approved, but also that it was a recommended. So I shouldn't say approved. Okay. CDC was recommending that. It's a recommendation, and that we were following the protocols of what has been recommended through the process. And there's no promises or guarantees that we can make, especially since COVID was so new at the time. We were all just learning like what solutions are safe, what solutions would be able to truly disinfect and sanitize. And the one thing that was extremely important to us as a company was that we did and followed the process to a T, because then that was going to be more of a guarantee that your area and your workspace was going to truly be sanitized. So, people could come in and talk about all of their, their gadgets and UV ray lights and electrostatic and fogging machine. Like there's just so many gadgets that you can use. And I really wanted to take that focus off and focus on the process that needed to happen so that it could properly be disinfected and sanitized. A lot of times people were just coming in and doing a nice fogging spray and say, you're good to go. But really, it really wasn't doing what it's supposed to do.
We're speaking to Corina Burton from CPR Construction Clean. Obviously, she explained the process, she explained what they're doing. But now let me ask you this next question, Corina. What is your business plan? What is your business strategy? Is your plan to expand to additional states? How do you see your employee growth? What are you looking in the next 3 to 5 years for your company?
We definitely have in the near future, I don't remember, did we talk about the states that we were in at the beginning?
Yes.
But
yes.
So we're in 5 states, Arizona, California, Utah, Nevada, and Colorado. and Nevada and Colorado are new territories for us. We have full CPR functioning teams there that can offer the full service that we offer in any other state.
Nice.
But we do have plans on opening in the near future in Texas as well as Florida.
Nice.
But in 3 to 5 years, our goals are to be a national company. How the structure of that is going to be, time will tell.
Of
We
course,
definitely
yeah.
have a plan for that. But we absolutely want to be a national company, possibly international.
I think it's a great business plan, and I wish you the best of luck in all that it's needed, definitely. So good luck to you on that, and for you and your partners and all your employees. But now I'm going to shift a little bit to some items of your personal interest. I see that you're an advocate for healthy living. You promote it on your LinkedIn profile. Tell me a little bit of what that means to you. What exactly of healthy living is that you like to advocate or promote?
Healthy living. So as a mother of 4, it's very important to stay focused on health and wellness, because especially when you are trying to juggle your career and motherhood at the same time. My children range from 17 to 4, and it's like I have them all over the spectrum. So
yeah,
not being able to feel my best or be healthy, and not just physically but mentally, is extremely important. And I also, it wasn't like I woke up one day and thought, okay, I need to be healthy on every aspect. A lot of times life really teaches us and kind of pulls us to our knees, and sometimes forces us to really take a good look at ourselves to say, what do I need to do so that I can make sure that I am at my best? And I don't want to say unfortunately, but maybe unfortunately, I have had health struggles over the past few years. I've dealt with chronic illness that has impacted my life, and has caused me to struggle here and there, not just physically but emotionally. So being able to make sure that I'm eating whole foods, I make sure that I'm a very intuitive eater. I choose to eat real foods over processed foods, making sure that I'm doing meditation in the morning, and I'm putting in good fluids into my body, very clean water, high alkaline water, fresh juices rather than soda pop and Red Bulls, or
of course,
any those energy drinks to keep me going, right? So I am a very big advocate on other people recognizing how food is a support system to keep us healthy and strong, right? So instead of reaching for medication, if I have a headache, I'm going to reach for a herb supplement versus a ibuprofen or a Tylenol to help support me so that it keeps me healthy, and I'm not putting a Band-Aid over anything. And I don't want, to look down 10 years down the road and say, my body was trying to tell me something and I wasn't listening. Instead, I kept putting a Band-Aid on it. And that even goes for your emotional health too. When you're starting to feel these things, instead of suppressing it and, putting it away, it's important to kind of take a look at it, honor those feelings, and then release them. But the more that we bury them and we ignore them and we suppress them, you're a ticking time bomb, and you're eventually it's going to come out some way, somehow. And so, the best ways to be able to control that is by being mindful of what's going on internally as well, emotionally.
I think, Corina, that you touched on a very important subject. It's not only your physical health, it's mental health. I think that's what a lot of people struggle with these days. And you gave great advice during, these points that you mentioned, and not only for the mother, but I think for anybody in general, to be able to balance the stress, the workload overwhelming your children, the households, etc. And instead of going through all these processed foods or medication or enhancements, and you resort to more healthy options, I think that's great, and I commend you for that. I think we need more of that. I think, and I believe that the most important thing, Corina, is that we're just not educated. I'm not saying we're dumb. I'm just saying that sometimes we just don't have the proper information to guide
Absolutely.
us, to educate us.
Yes.
So if you ever want to come back on this program and talk about just that, that's a really good topic of conversation
It's
for
very
anybody.
true. What you don't know, you don't know. And
Yeah.
that's why I feel, compelled to share,
Mm.
because when I
Yeah.
first started on this journey a few years ago, I had no idea. And all I did was research and research and
Yeah.
research. And sometimes it can start feeling very daunting and it can feel very overwhelming. And until you find your structure and what makes you feel like it works with you, it works with
Yeah.
your body, that whole process can be very overwhelming. But if you have someone that's there in your support corner, or someone that you feel like you can bounce off ideas, or if you're listening, I love listening to podcasts. I love hearing other people's point of view. And so it's always about learning and educating yourself in areas that you
That's
don't
right.
know. But if a lot of times it doesn't even dawn on your mind until,
Hmm.
let's say someone's listening to this conversation on LinkedIn and they're thinking, oh my gosh, I never thought about reaching towards, let's say, I have a headache,
Yeah.
and instead of reaching towards ibuprofen, I reach towards turmeric or ginger
Mm.
or ginkgo biloba. And, that person's like, I didn't think of that,
Yeah.
until they hear that. And so, with having these opportunities to share each other's knowledge, it can bless people's lives in various different ways. So, that's why it's good to have these kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
And maybe it helps people here and there, but it brings awareness to
Yeah.
other ways of life.
Well, there you have it, folks. We're speaking to Corina Burton. She's not only an entrepreneur, but she's a co-owner of CPR Construction Clean, and also an advocate for healthy living, which I think is a great topic of conversation to have in the future. But now let's shift a little bit as we're getting to the end of this interview, Corina. I'm a huge advocate of volunteering, community work. I'm a community liaison for my local church. I serve my city. I sit on a couple of committees, board of directors. I'm on the chief of police advisory board. I do so much because I want to give back. And I think if you're like me, we try to choose and we try to select where we spend our time that's going to produce more return. In other words, if I invest my time in the community, I'm helping families, I'm helping underserved, those who are in need, the less fortunate. And you have something on your profile that really stood out to me, and I want to discuss it, was your volunteer work, Stand Up for Kids. And I would like to know a little bit, what is that exactly?
So Stand Up for Kids is an organization that is a support group and offers a safe space. So you cannot keep anyone overnight that's under the age of 18. So Stand Up for Kids cannot offer a safe place for them to sleep,
Mm,
because the average age of a child who runs away or is homeless is the age of 9. I mean, to me, that's mind blowing. I can't even fathom that. I think of,
yeah,
obviously my children at one point were 9, and um, I couldn't imagine them roaming around being homeless. So Stand Up for Kids came together and created a safe space, kind of like a clubhouse that these kids can come to, have warm meals, kind
mm,
of, be around people, adults that are of good influence, of good impact, that they can be a support system to them. And, maybe come in and have some supplies,
yeah,
toothbrush, toothpaste, some snacks that they can take for later. Socks is a big thing for them as well.
wow,
But it's a really beautiful group. And to think of all the homeless children that are
yes,
around is mind blowing, because you think, well, when you're out, you see all the homeless adults, but you don't see homeless children. You don't really think of that necessarily in America, at least for me, when I'm, traveling. I'm from California, and I've lived all throughout, the northern to southern California area, but I've lived in Arizona the last, oh gosh, 8 years, 9 years, and I've never seen a homeless child, but there is a high number population of children. And, these children then are being trafficked as well. So it's just, it pulls at my heartstrings, and I don't like it.
So, Corina, I want to thank you for your advocacy for something so important as homeless kids or troubled teens or youth at risk. It's very important. And if anybody that's listening and watching this podcast wants to donate, sponsor, give in-kind donations, like Corina said, socks, clothing is very much needed. There's a website that you can visit, and it's www.standupforkids.org. Stand Up for Kids, it's all letters, .org, and you can get more information there. Now, Corina, there's something else that really piqued my interest when I was looking or browsing through profile. Was there's a podcast that you participated in and that you're promoting, and it's Money Making Mothers. And I'm a huge supporter of mothers. It doesn't matter what culture background. I had a podcast of Latinas Empower, Black Women Empower, which is all great, and I'm a huge supporter of women who excel and want to do good and do great. But this really intrigued me because I love the title, number one, Money Making Mothers. Explain to me a little bit, what is the objective, or what is the content behind this podcast? What's the message?
So actually, this podcast is created by a sweet lady. Her name is Karla Edwards. She lives in the UK, and she invited me a few weeks ago to be one of, actually, I was the first US interviewer.
Wow.
She works in insurance, specifically life insurance, but she also wanted to create this podcast to be able to bring recognition and acknowledgement of women who want to be mothers and want to also embellish and enjoy their career at the same time and have a safe coexisting space with that. It's interesting, if a lot of people have opinions, and people have opinions if women stay home. People have opinions if women leave. Mm-hmm. And so, it's, to me, that's a little, I believe, stressful for people. And so being able to have this safe space, a place where, you can listen to other women who are succeeding in their careers and their entrepreneurial dreams, and being a mother at the same time can be very uplifting for those who are wanting to do the same thing. And so, so this is a podcast by Karla Edwards, and I think she's doing a phenomenal job. If you haven't subscribed just to listen to see, who she has on there, you definitely should give a listen to. She's awesome.
Well, there you have it. It's Money Making Mothers. Look them up on what is it? iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you can get your podcast.
Yes, it's by Karla Edwards.
Yeah, Karla Edwards, Money Making Mothers. So we've been speaking with Corina Burton, a co-owner of CPR Construction Clean, healthy living advocate, volunteer. She's an entrepreneur. And I saw in your profile that you used to be a model and actress, and you moved up in marketing and HR and HNS. So you've had a good journey, and I want to commend you, Corina, for all the good that you're doing. It looks like you have a good heart. You're passionate to helping people, the industry. So we want to thank you for your time on this program today. So, Corina, we want to thank you. Any last words for our viewers?
No, it was very exciting to be able to participate on this interview. I love to be able to, share, just because I know I'm not the only one out there, going through the same things that I'm going through, or struggles or desires. So being able to connect with others is always a very important thing. Building relationships goes a really long way, and helping people.
Awesome. Thank you. If anybody wants to get a hold of Karina and CPR Construction Clean, the phone number is area code 602-300-5906. Area code is 602-300-5906. And the website, which will also appear on your screen, is www.cprclean.com. That's www.cprclean.com. You've been watching another episode of Candid Conversation with Adam Lopez. We have Corina Burton today. Thank you so much for your support. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.